They say family always has your back. But what happens when the people you sacrifice everything for are the first to turn against you? For years, I worked hard not for myself, but for my family. I paid for my younger sister's college, covered the bills, and kept my parents' home running while they struggled financially. I never asked for thanks. I just wanted to help. But one day, everything changed. My sister accused me of stealing her college fund, the very fund I had been secretly filling. My parents believed her without question. They threw me out of the house I helped keep afloat. They thought I was weak. They thought I would beg to come back. Instead, I walked away. What happened next, they never saw it coming. My name is Julia, and I'm 28 years old. For as long as I can remember, my family has always treated my younger sister Lily like she was the most important person in the world. She is 21, beautiful, and smart. My parents constantly praised her and told everyone how special she was. I, on the other hand, was always in the background. After I finished college, I got a full-time job as an accountant. I worked hard every single day, not just for myself, but for my family too. My parents were struggling with money. They couldn't afford many things, including Lily's college education. Without telling anyone, I secretly started paying for Lily's college tuition, her books, and even her rent. I also paid for most of our household bills, electricity, groceries, water, gas, and sometimes even my parents' car payments. They all lived comfortably because of my help. But none of them ever said thank you. Instead, they acted like it was my duty to take care of everything. My parents would often say things like, "You don't have a family of your own yet, so you can help us." Or, "Lily's education is more important right now." I stayed silent for years because I loved my family and I wanted Lily to have a bright future. But deep down, their behavior hurt me. I felt invisible in my own home. No one asked me how I was doing. No one cared about my dreams or my struggles. Still, I kept paying. I thought one day they might appreciate what I had done for them. But I was so wrong. What happened next broke my heart in ways I never imagined. One Saturday morning, I came downstairs to find my parents and Lily sitting at the dining table. The moment I entered, I felt something was wrong. They all looked at me with angry faces. Lily slammed some papers on the table and said, "Julia, how could you? You stole my college fund." I was shocked. "What are you talking about?" I asked, completely confused. "My college account is almost empty," she shouted. "There's barely any money left. You took it, admit it." My parents jumped in right away, not even giving me a chance to speak. "Julia, this is very serious," my father said. "You've crossed a line." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I didn't take anything. I've been paying for your college, Lily," I said calmly. "Mom and Dad couldn't afford it, so I've been covering your tuition, books, and living expenses." Lily laughed and rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, stop lying to make yourself look good. You think you're the hero? You're a thief." My mother added harshly. My heart was breaking. All these years, I had sacrificed my own life to support them, and now they were calling me a thief. They didn't even ask for proof or try to understand. They just believed Lily without question. "If you really cared about this family," my father said coldly, "you would move out. You've caused enough damage." Tears filled my eyes, but I held them back. I realized something painful in that moment. No matter what I did, they would never see my worth. But they had no idea what was coming next. I stood there in silence for a moment, feeling numb. Then I took a deep breath and pulled out a folder I had brought with me. I had kept every receipt, every bank statement, and every tuition payment for years, just in case something like this ever happened. "You want proof?" I said quietly, my voice shaking but strong. "Here it is." I laid the papers on the table. My parents and Lily looked through them slowly. Every document showed my name on the payments, thousands of dollars I had spent to cover Lily's college tuition, books, dorm fees, and even her car insurance. My mother's face turned pale, but she quickly snapped back. "You probably faked these." "I didn't fake anything," I replied firmly. "You all know Mom and Dad didn't have the money. I stepped up because I cared. But this is how you repay me? By calling me a thief. Lily's voice softened for a moment. Well, if you were paying, why didn't you say anything before? Because I didn't do it for attention, I said. I did it because I thought we were a family. The room went silent. For the first time, I saw a flicker of guilt in my father's eyes. But instead of apologizing, he said coldly,
Fine.
if you don't like how you're treated here, maybe it's better if you leave. That was it. That was the moment I knew I had to walk away. I looked at them one last time. All right, I said. I'll stop paying for everything starting today, and I'll move out. I packed my things that same afternoon and walked out of the house that never truly felt like home. But they had no idea that without my support, their entire world was about to fall apart. After I left, I finally felt free. But deep inside, I was still hurt. I had spent years sacrificing for my family, and they had thrown me out without a second thought. But now they would have to manage without me. It didn't take long for things to start falling apart. Without my payments, the household bills piled up fast. The electricity bill went unpaid. The water got shut off. And the mortgage fell behind. My parents tried to cover the bills with what little savings they had, but it wasn't enough. Lily's college called after just 2 weeks without my payments. Her tuition was overdue. They sent her warnings about suspension. Lily tried to hide it at first, but soon the college officially suspended her classes until the tuition was paid in full. I started hearing about their troubles from neighbors and mutual friends. My parents even started borrowing money from relatives. But no one could help them much. Everyone had their own problems, and most were tired of my parents always asking for handouts. Then something even worse happened. I received a letter from my bank saying someone had tried to apply for a large student loan using my name and social security number. My heart sank. I knew exactly who had done it, Lily. She was so desperate that she had tried to steal my identity to get more money. That was the final straw. I immediately called my bank and reported the fraud. Then I contacted the police. Enough was enough. They had taken advantage of me for years. I wasn't going to let them destroy my life any further. A few days after I filed the police report, an officer contacted me to gather more information. I provided them with a bank letter, my financial records, and proof that I had never authorized any student loan applications. The police launched an investigation right away. They traced the loan application back to my parents' house. It didn't take long for them to confirm that Lily had used my personal information to try and open the loan. One afternoon, 2 officers arrived at my parents' house. Lily was home. She broke down the moment they confronted her. My parents tried to defend her, saying it was just a misunderstanding and begging the officers not to arrest her. But the law doesn't work like that. Lily was charged with attempted identity theft and fraud. My parents immediately called me, crying and begging me to drop the charges. My mother sobbed on the phone, saying, "Please, Julia, she's your sister. Don't ruin her future." I stayed calm and answered, "She ruined her own future when she tried to steal from me. I won't protect her anymore." For the first time, they saw that I was serious. I was done being the family's doormat. Lily's case went to court. Because it was her first offense, the judge gave her 2 years of probation, community service, and ordered her to attend financial responsibility classes. But now she had a criminal record that would follow her for years. The courtroom was filled with silence as the judge read the sentence. My parents glared at me with anger, but I felt nothing but relief. For once, justice was on my side. But the biggest secret was still waiting to be revealed. And it would change everything. A few weeks after Lily's sentencing, I received a call from one of my father's old friends, Mr. Jenkins. We hadn't spoken in years, so I was surprised he reached out. "Julia, I don't mean to get involved," he said, "but you deserve to know the truth." I listened carefully as Mr. Jenkins revealed a secret my parents had been hiding for years. It turned out that my father had secretly gambled away most of the family savings long before Lily even started college. He had built up large gambling debts, borrowing money from dangerous people. And my mother helped him cover it up to protect the family's image. That's why there was never any real college fund for Lily. That's why they relied on me so heavily to cover the household bills and Lily's tuition. They never told me because they were ashamed and didn't want to take responsibility for their mistakes. Instead, they let me carry the burden and blamed me when things went wrong. I was stunned. My entire childhood had been built on lies. All those years of being treated like I wasn't good enough while I sacrificed everything. They let it happen to protect their own selfish secrets. For the first time in my life, I fully saw the truth about my parents. They were not victims. They were manipulators who used me until I had nothing left to give. I thanked Mr. Jenkins for telling me. His words gave me the closure I needed. My parents' financial problems continued to grow worse. The house went into foreclosure, and they were forced to sell their cars to pay off debts. Their perfect image had finally fallen apart. But I had already moved on, and I was about to start building a new life for myself, free from their control. After everything that happened, I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to let my family's mistakes control my life anymore. For the first time, I was truly free. I rented a small but beautiful apartment in the city. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. I decorated it with colors I loved, hung up artwork that made me happy, and finally felt at peace walking into my own home. At work, I focused harder than ever. All the experience I had gained from managing my family's finances helped me grow fast in my career. My boss noticed my hard work and offered me a promotion to senior accountant with a much better salary. I felt proud knowing I had earned everything by myself. With my new income, I started saving for my future. I also joined a few personal development courses to build new skills. I even made some wonderful friends who supported me and encouraged me to follow my own dreams. One evening, as I was sitting on my balcony with a cup of coffee, I smiled for the first time in a long time. I finally felt strong. I had survived the betrayal, the lies, and the heartbreak. And now I was building a life that was no longer controlled by anyone but me. Meanwhile, my parents and Lily were still struggling. My parents lost their home and moved into a small rental apartment. Lily had dropped out of college and was working part-time jobs, still blaming others for her problems. They tried reaching out a few times, calling, texting, even sending relatives to talk to me. But I stayed firm. I was polite but distant. I no longer wanted to be pulled back into their toxic cycle. I had finally learned to protect my peace. Months passed, and my life kept improving. My promotion came with new opportunities, and I even started working on a side business doing financial consulting. For the first time, I was truly happy, independent, and free from the heavy weight of my family's problems. But my parents didn't give up so easily. One afternoon, I heard a knock on my apartment door. When I opened it, my parents stood there looking worn, tired, and nothing like the proud, entitled people I once knew. My mother's eyes filled with tears the moment she saw me. "Julia," she whispered, "please, we need your help." I stood there, feeling a strange mixture of sadness and strength. My father stepped forward and said, "We lost everything. We're sorry for how things turned out. Can you help us just a little?" It was hard to hear, but I remembered everything they had done. The lies, the betrayal, the way they kicked me out, accused me, and protected Lily's actions. They had only come now because they had nowhere else to turn. "I wish things had been different," I said calmly, "but you made your choices. I can't fix them for you." "But we're family," my mother cried. I took a deep breath. "Family isn't supposed to treat each other like you treated me. I hope you find a way to rebuild, but I won't be part of it anymore." My father lowered his head, defeated. My mother softly begged one last time, but I gently closed the door. That moment was painful, but it was also freeing. I had finally closed the chapter that had haunted me for years. Now, I could fully focus on my own future. A full year passed since I shut the door that day. My life had changed in ways I never thought possible. The consulting business I started grew quickly. Word spread that I was trustworthy, smart, and dedicated. The exact opposite of how my family treated me for years. I even hired 2 assistants to help manage my growing list of clients. My hard work was finally paying off. Financially, I was more stable than ever. Emotionally, I was stronger. I no longer carried the guilt and pain my family placed on me for so long. Instead, I felt peace. The kind of peace that comes when you take control of your own life. Sometimes, I would hear updates about my parents and Lily through distant relatives. They were still struggling, still blaming others for their situation. But I no longer felt responsible for fixing their mess. That weight was finally gone. One evening, I sat on my balcony again, sipping tea as the sun set. I thought about everything I had survived: the lies, the betrayal, the false accusations, and the years of being used. And yet, I had made it on my own. For so long, I believed I needed their approval to feel worthy. But now I knew the truth. My worth never depended on them. I smiled to myself as the cool breeze blew gently across my face. This was my life now. And I was finally free.